So now I'm going to talk about the power of neutrality and the importance of the mediator being neutral. This is also a concept that is called being impartial. So it's important for the mediator to be that neutral professional, to be impartial. While facilitating the mediation process, the facilitator really needs to model these different types of skills that I've been talking about. And more importantly, at the very beginning, the mediator really needs to set the tone as being a neutral professional, not advocating for one side, not being in favor of one side over the other. And the mediator needs to model that neutrality and to show the value of being neutral, which also means that the parties, by following the model of the mediator, can be looking at things a little bit more neutral, a little more distant, rather than being wrapped up in their own emotions. So that's one of the reasons why modeling the neutrality is important for the mediator to demonstrate to the clients. Neutrality builds fairness and trust. So fairness in the system, viewing the mediator as being fair, and building that trust so that the mediation clients know that they can work with this mediator. The mediator is really trying to help them. The mediator is looking out for their interests. It also fosters open communication. It helps to encourage the honest dialogue that is needed in mediation, and it empowers the parties to help them find solutions that they will find acceptable in order to resolve their conflict. One of the great things about mediation and the neutrality of the mediator is that it helps create a safe space for all of this to occur, for the parties to feel heard, for them to be able to openly discuss and honestly discuss the things that are bothering them, the things that they want to see happen. If the mediator cannot remain neutral, then the mediator must withdraw from mediating the case. That's how important it is for the mediator to be neutral. So what does neutrality mean? Here are some examples. The mediator should not show any favoritism or bias towards any of the parties. The mediator should be guiding them without really solving it for them. The discussion is about solutions, but it's not the mediator's role to solve it for them, and certainly not by guiding them in a way that is more for one party, advocating more for one party. The mediator needs to be impartial and neutral, as I discussed, while guiding them and helping them to discuss solutions that might be available to them. The mediator should not be offering personal opinions. The mediator does not give legal advice. So those types of things the mediator needs to stay away from. And the mediator needs to remain curious. The mediator wants to understand, not work off of assumptions or by the mediator making judgments about the parties or their positions or their wants, needs, and interests. So the mediator needs to avoid assumptions and avoid making judgments. There is a question as far as whether neutrality is actually an achievable goal. It is difficult for any of us, we're all human, to completely stay away from our biases and maybe some of our assumptions and those sort of things. So it is questioned whether neutrality is an achievable goal. But it is achievable in the sense that the mediator can come to the table, recognize that they have certain biases, and they need to be able to manage those biases, manage those assumptions. If the mediator can do that, then that would be successful for the mediation. If the mediator is not able to do that, if they can't move away from their biases, can't move away from their assumptions, then the mediator should not be working as the mediator on this particular case. So it may not be 100% achievable, but as long as it's manageable for the mediator to take care of their biases, then that's okay. There's an article that's titled "What Our Inner Conflict Tells Us About How We Mediated." And in that article, the authors say, perhaps to some relief for mediation practitioners, the self is not to be left outside the mediation door. On the contrary, it is invited in. Mediators are encouraged to bring their whole selves to the mediation table while assisting in the repair of social systems. So there's not an expectation that they will be completely unbiased and they have to leave who they are outside the room. They can bring it in as long as they can manage it and work within the system in a way that is effective and unbiased for the benefit of the clients. That provides an integrity for the mediation process. So neutrality helps keep the mediator ethical. And so now I'm going to talk about more of the ethical and legal considerations in the process.